Hey everybody, welcome to Cooking with Little Tuck. My name's Tucker. I'll be your guide on this journey today. So today we're going to try and make some cinnamon rolls. I got this recipe from my grandma. I've made it about once, so we're going to honestly see if it works out. I don't remember how it went the first time I made it, but we'll just wing it. What you're going to need for this recipe is you're going to need some milk, some yeast, some sugar, some flour, some salt, eggs, vegetable oil, some butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, and water. You'll need to get those first before you start anything else, and then I will put in the description how much you need of each, and also throughout this video I'll talk about how much you need of each. But we'll see what we can do. Okay, so what you are going to want to do first is get a cup of milk, and then you're going to want to pour it into a pan that you will put on your stovetop. This way you can scald the milk, and you're going to want to do that till it gets almost to boiling, but not really at boiling. Then you're going to remove it from your stovetop. So while that milk is starting to scald, which looks like it's getting close, we're going to want to crack 2 eggs, and you're going to put them into a bowl. And you're going to want to beat the eggs while that happens. This way you can add it to them later. But if you're like me and you're broke college kid and you only have one mixer because you're not fancy, yeah, you're just going to want to go ahead and start that this way you don't accidentally get behind and have to figure out. Okay, so the eggs are done beating now. So what you're going to want to do while those are still beating, you'll take your, after you let your milk got back to kind of like lukewarm room temperature, you're going to want to add a ½ cup of flour. And then also a 1/4 cup of sugar, and then 1 packet of yeast. And you're going to want to add that into a bowl, kind of mix it together, and then let it start to kind of bubbly. Okay, so as you can see, put all the ingredients together in one bowl, and then I've mixed them all together with the hand spatula. They're kind of starting to get a little bit bubbly, as you can tell. And now we're going to put them into our eggs, and then we're going to mix also into that big bowl with a 1/4 cup of oil. And then you're going to want, wherever my flour is, another ½ cup of flour, and then the eggs, which I already showed you. And so we'll put those all together in this bowl right here, and then we'll start to mix them up. So now I have all the ingredients in a bowl, and I'm going to be using a kneading hook. This way I can just kind of start to, because you need to knead it either way, so you can either use a mixer like that, and then knead it with your hands, or you can just go ahead and start. So we've mixed it all up, and now it kind of looks somewhat like a dough, I guess you could say. We're going to let it needs to double in size basically, so you need to let it rise for a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a towel, pretty much like this one. I'm going to kind of dampen some just room sort of hot water later over the top, and I'm going to put it in my oven. We're going to put it in here, we're going to turn the light on, and the light will be about as much heat as you need for it to start to rise. Probably give it about, I say, I'm going to check in about 15 minutes, and we're just going to see if it's double in size, and when it has, then we're set, and if it takes longer, it takes longer, and I'll just get more stuff done while it's waiting. But yeah, I'll be back whenever it has rised. Okay. So we let it rise. I think I gave it about probably 30 minutes, honestly, because I went down and played a couple games. But it's double in size, as you can see, and so now we're going to throw it onto a giant rolling pin. Ignore that it's a pizza, because I don't have any other rolling mats that it will stick to. Anyway, we're going to roll it out into about 1/4 of an inch thick, and I will show you once I have that rolled out. A trick that I learned, so this dough probably is very tacky, it's very sticky. A fun trick, you can, obviously you can put flour on your hands and that'll help, but if you kind of dab your hands in just a tiny bit of water, not a lot, it works just as well, and this way you don't have flour going everywhere, and it'll keep your hands from getting all sticky, and it'll let you be able to hold the dough a lot easier. So, if you ever need a fun trick, there you go. But now I have this out on my pad, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna roll it out to about, I'm gonna say 1/4 of an inch thick. Do I honestly know how thick that is? No. Are we gonna take out a measuring thing and measure it? No. So we're just gonna kind of eyeball it. But just rolling it, keep in mind that you're wanting to kind of roll it in kind of like a rectangle shape, not more of like a circle, because you're going to want to roll it over and then cut it. So just keep in mind you're wanting to do more of a rectangle than a like pizza circle basically. So just so what I'm going to do next, after I will show you in a second, because I can't flip my camera because I'm on my iPad and I don't know how to do that during the middle of the video. I will show you what it looks like when I have it all rolled out, but right now I'm going to take a stick of butter, and you can either use it as, mine's still kind of cold, and so for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to melt it in the microwave and put it in this cup and then melt it out. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to pour it all over your dough, and then I don't have the tool with me. It's at my home where my parents live, but I'm just going to use a spoon and call it good. But there, you can just use whatever really, kind of spread evenly to all the edges, and then, okay. So as you're melting your butter, go ahead and set your oven for 350 degrees. That's what it needs to be at, so go ahead and start preheating it so it'll be ready for you. This is about what I did for my dough. I'm guessing that's about 1/4 inch thick. It might be a little bit thinner than that. We'll find out. So what you're going to want to do is just take your butter. Just kind of like, drizzle it on there. I mean, you don't have to use it all. Butter's usually not that expensive. And then you're just going to kind of want to swirl it all around. Just make sure you get to all the edges and just do like that. Okay, so as you have your butter evenly spread all over, you're going to want to take some brown sugar. And my recipe doesn't really say how much to use, so we're kind of just going to like just sprinkle on your desired level, I'm going to say. Coat it real good, I feel like. Because this will be the inside, obviously, of your cinnamon roll, so you're going to want to have a nice... That's too thick. I'm going to be spreading it out when I put this camera down. But just, you're going to want to put some brown sugar all around, and then you're also going to want to take some, I can show you the name, cinnamon. You're going to want to sprinkle that all over in too, because that's what gives it the taste. Okay. Okay, so now I got all the brown sugar and cinnamon seasoning all kind of mixed in with the butter on top of the roll. So now what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to start to roll it into one giant roll, so we have basically one long tube. So now we have rolled it all into one giant tube, and what you're going to want to do next is basically you're going to want to cut it into 1.5 inch slices. Like maybe there, that's too long. You know what I mean? You're just going to want to basically cut it just into what looks like good sized cinnamon rolls. And then after you cut that, you're going to want to take some, if you have glass pans, those work best, I feel like. This recipe says it makes about 12 to 14, so you might need 2 glass pans, and you can either use, I'm probably going to use Crisco, and just line all the pans with that, because that usually makes it a lot easier than Pam. But if you don't have this, obviously, Pam works just as well. But you're going to want to cut that roll, and then transport it into your pans. And then we'll go on to the next step after that. Okay, so now you got your cinnamon rolls now placed out nicely in your pans. This one's a little bit bigger than that other pan, so they're awkwardly spaced out, but they'll work out fine. Okay, so what you're going to do next is you're going to take 1/4 cup of water, and then 1/2 cup of brown sugar again. Pour those together. And then you're going to take 1 tablespoon of butter, melted, and then pour that also into the mixture. And then just want to stir that. So after you mix that all up, you have your new concoction or whatever. Also, I cut my thumb, with my knife. I don't know how I did it, so that's why I have a Band-Aid on now. Anyway, you're going to take this, and then you're just going to pour it over the tops of all your cinnamon rolls. So if you run out, just make another cup of it, same amounts, but you shouldn't run out. But just pour it over the tops of your cinnamon rolls, and then you will be done, and you'll be able to put those cinnamon rolls, if your oven's done heating up, into the 350-degree oven for about 35 minutes. So set a timer for 35 minutes, go down, sit down, watch Netflix, watch TV, whatever, and then come back, check them if they look done. Okay, so now we have the cinnamon rolls out of the oven. That pan got a little bit burnt, got away from me, but that's okay. This pan turned out really nicely. Now you can I personally hate putting icing on my cinnamon rolls. If you like it, just look up a recipe online. I'm sure there's dozens of them that you can easily just put on at the end. But we are done now. This is the end of my tutorial on how to make cinnamon rolls, and hopefully you learned something. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below, and I will hopefully get back to you and answer them. Also, I'll put all the steps I'll put all the measurements of how much stuff you need in the description below. But thank you guys very much for watching, and you guys keep on baking.